I'll always be proud of being recognized as maybe, like I love it. I don't bat an eye. I think when I was a little younger and still feeling like a little bitter, sometimes I'd be like, oh yeah, that,
Right.
but no, it doesn't bother me. I mean, if they recognize me for a show that I was 15 on, that means my plastic surgery is working really well.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, sad, confused begins now.
Hey guys, it's Josh. Welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Today on the pod, Alia Shawkat, first time guest on Happy, Sad, Confused, talking Search Party, Arrested Development, and her new film, ATROPIA. Hey guys, thanks as always for joining me on Happy, Sad, Confused, for enjoying us on YouTube or Spotify or however you're enjoying this podcast. I appreciate all of you guys. So thrilled that we have Alia on the pod for the very first time. I actually just spoke to Will Arnett yesterday. That is coming up on the pod soon. So I feel like I'm running through. Bateman was on recently. All the Arrested Development actors. This one's a really fun, interesting conversation with a very talented, smart actor in Alia. Other things to mention really quickly, not much. I'll just say, as always, check out our Patreon for early access and discount codes and all the fun stuff. Patreon.com/happy sad confused. That is your place to support the podcast and help us make more of what we do over here. Um, Not much more preamble I want to say other than Alia is a woman of many talents, a producer, an artist, and of course, an actor since she was just a kid. She was 14 years old when she was cast on Arrested and had already been doing it for a bit. And the fact that, like, forget like the folks like Will and Bateman that were in their mid 30s, talk about people like Michael Cera and Alia that they found at that young age that could keep up, more than keep up with those talented actors. It's just kind of a miracle. And to see the career that she's had since then, working with great filmmakers and so prominent on the indie film scene, an actor that whenever they show up, you're in good hands, is Alia Shawkat. So I know you're going to enjoy this episode. Always great to add a first time guest to the mix on Happy, Sad, Confused. Without any further ado, here's me and Alia. We're doing this. Oh yeah, Shawkat, you're on the podcast. Welcome. It's happening. Do you
Hi,
feel it?
thanks for having me. I feel it. I'm gonna move my purse from the background.
No, we want to stare at
I
the
don't want to be too
purse.
yeah. Yeah.
No.
Um,
how
and I'm
how
forgetting my
how
popcorn.
how goes it? You're in the middle of. Do I have this right? Did you have a big fancy Q&A premiere last night? Are you still standing?
Yeah, it was 2 nights ago. We had the fancy premiere. We took photos on a carpet outside, and then yeah, we shared the movie with a lot of friends and strangers. And then we had a really cool party, and yeah, I drank alcohol. It was fun.
And you're still coherent. I'm a little. I feel
Still
like
here
I'm a little fried this season. I'm going to be honest. It's the season
already.
of it's
Yeah,
yeah. It's the it's it, we're in that like the Q and the A's and all the stuff,
and
and I feel like my brain
you know,
shut off 2 days ago. So I promise I'm going to
yeah.
give like one last burst for you because you deserve it.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I,
And if I don't get a burst, a little
no.
spark's okay too.
No,
No
no, it's okay.
pressure.
You deserve everything. I also feel happy that when I was looking up what you were up to this week, a mystery was solved because when I was watching, they sent me a screener for Atropia,
Yeah.
and Aubrey's name was like emblazoned right in the middle of the screen, Aubrey Plaza. And then I
Oh
saw that
yeah.
she did your Q&A, so I'm like,
Q&A. Yeah. So
I
you
got
thought she was in the
Aubrey's
movie.
screener.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Oh, you got hers. Okay. Well, I'll tell her. Then she must have gotten yours.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
How did she do as a questioner?
She did great. She's really good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She's a good friend, and it was really nice of her to come do it. And she's kind of rolled up, and she's like, "I love the movie, but what do I ask?" And I was like, "You'll be fine."
Yeah.
And it was fine. The audience is really cool, and I like a good Q&A.
Yeah.
They're kind of fun, especially the
You,
relaxed ones. The ones after premieres are, I feel like, not as good because everyone's like a little tired and edgy, like ready to
right.
get a snack,
Right.
But it's just like a regular Wednesday, like a casual Q&A after a movie. It's more fun. And then you're like, oh my God, they're here? It
Right.
feels cooler.
So you've got a lot going on, I have to say. So we have a Atropia to talk about. We also can officially say that you're going to be hitting the stage here in New York for the first
Yeah.
time. I'm very excited for this. I'm going to come on out to support. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, this
Yeah.
is the debut. This is the official theatrical debut.
Yeah, it is. I've done I did a performance piece at BAM in 2019, but it was not no, yeah, this is my very first like theater, like real theater.
have you
Yeah.
been thinking about this for a while? Like, I mean, you strike me as like a confident performer. I feel like you don't get rattled, or maybe you're masking it really well.
It changes daily, you know.
Okay,
Um, when I moved to New York when I was 18, and I was like, I'm gonna do theater like a real actor.
right.
And I never got any roles because I think I didn't articulate very well. And my presence was just a little more like for TV and movies. I had done it since I was a kid, so I wasn't as that's what I tell myself, you know. But so I was auditioning for a lot of theater, nothing happened, and then I got more jobs in LA, and it eventually took me back to LA doing film, and then I did more TV in New York. But anyways, and then I just never happened again. And then as you get, as more time passes and you get older too, it's like your time, you want to make sure you're spending it the way you want to, and it's a big commitment to do a
Yeah.
play, so it has to be a piece you really respond to and want to do every night, you know. Um, but I've always wanted to do theater, and then this piece You Got Older by Claire Barron, and then Annie Kaufman is directing it. It was just like kind of perfect, and I really responded to the material. And I'm terrified, but I feel like it's a good sign, so I'm just gonna go forward.
Do you generally feel, or you like, I mean, I feel like every actor feels the night before a shoot, they're like, why did they hire me? This is the horrible
Oh yeah,
decision. Yeah.
yeah. I remember I did like a small part in this film, Ruby Sparks.
Hmm.
Um, and I was in this scene with Paul Dano, and I had one of those, I was only working a couple days on it, and I kind of my confidence was at a low, but I kind of said that to him. I was like, because I was nervous, and I was like, you ever like wonder like, are you any good? And like, what
Yeah.
should I be doing this? And he was like, yeah, all the time. And it
Yeah.
made me feel so much better because I was like, if Paul Dano's saying this, then like I'll be okay, you know? So.
Yeah, I always say, and people that listen or watch the podcast are sick of me saying it, but it always makes me happy and others actors happy to hear that when Gary Oldman was on the podcast, he always
Yeah.
talked about how he still feels like he's screwing it up half the time.
Yeah,
So, and
it helps.
Paul Dano, Quentin Tarantino's least favorite actor, no less.
Okay, I gotta say I'm a bit of a Luddite. I'm like I didn't catch up, but I don't know how I saw that and what happened. I mean, we don't need
I
to
don't
hash
know.
it out. He
No, we
just
don't
like
need to, but
insulted Paul Dano. Like Jesus, Quentin, take a break.
I know. I mean, love Quentin's work. Sometimes he's a little too free with his unvarnished opinions. Like, not everything needs to
Yeah,
be said out
seriously.
loud. If he's not for you, it's okay. He's for the rest of
Yeah,
us.
seriously. Yeah, not good.
I also
I'm on
was
Team
going.
Paul. Team Paul all the
Yeah,
way.
definitely, definitely. I was going down the Alia Shawkat YouTube rabbit hole this morning just to see what I found also. And what the hell was what the hell was the Gucci film from earlier
Oh,
this year?
fair. Oh, I thought you were getting someone way back. That's new.
No, this is super
Um,
new. This is super new. Yeah.
what the hell was it? I'm not sure. I
Was this like a
gotta
tax
say,
write-off for Gucci? Like, get me every
I
actor on the
wish.
planet?
Yeah, get the best. Oh, it's because it was freaking Spike, you know what I mean, and Helena. So
Right,
we were
Spike
like, okay,
Jones. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And Helena, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get her last name wrong.
Oh,
Helena,
Rain,
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Ryan. Helena Ryan.
yeah.
So they directed it together, and Spike's an old friend of mine, and he texted me and was like, "Do you want to do this Gucci short film?" And I was like, "Am I gonna get paid or?" And that remains to be seen. But no, yeah, I was like, I would love to work with him. I've known him for so long. He was actually in the first movie I ever did, Three Kings, this David O. Russell movie.
Of course.
And
Yes. That's
yeah,
crazy.
we
Oh
met
my
on
God.
that. I was 9. We weren't necessarily friends, but he was always really nice. And then we like reconnected in New York years later, and he's just always been a really good friend, and I'm such a fan of his work. But and I did like some weird little like plays we did for opening ceremony. Like we always did creative things together, but I'd never been on camera with him since um,
That's
Three
amazing.
Kings.
Yeah,
And so an opportunity to work with him to direct, I was like, hell yeah. And it was just like a great group of people.
it is. It's
And
yeah. So it's
Elliot
for those.
Page I hadn't seen in a while. It's an old friend of mine. So yeah.
It's also. I mean, you say short film. It's like 35 minutes long, and
No,
it's
it's proper.
to me more Ed
Yeah.
Harris. It's like Kiki. Like everybody. It's kind of just a crazy
No, it's so
anomaly.
many people. And we shot it really fast. I mean, we shot it in like 5 days in LA, and then, we went to Milan because it was like in replacement of a fashion show. So they like
Huh.
showed the short in a theater they built. It was crazy. It was,
Okay.
very indulgent as fashion can be, but also I'm a fan
Yeah.
of Demna, who's the designer. But it was kind of surreal. I think they were all like it was like a mock like this is what movies are like,
Right.
and we're like, what? Like usually movie premieres are like all the people you worked with, who worked on it. And this was
Yeah.
we were just like a bunch of Korean pop stars. But it was cool. It was really cool. I was like really happy to be a part of it. I never really looked so fabulous in projects. Usually I'm like bleeding from the nose and trying to survive something.
Um, yeah, I would imagine it's a relatively easy answer when someone like Spike texts you. And
Yeah.
yeah, are you generally down like when a friend is like, "Hey, you want to try something out just for a couple days," or is that like
Yeah.
what's your mindset?
I'd say I definitely am more than most. I mean, obviously if it's something I really don't like, I don't do it, but I kind of put out in the universe that I want to work with friends,
Yeah,
and that's really happened in tenfold. Like the last several projects I've done, or even more. I mean, they're all with people I'm friends with, either, and friends before usually. And
right.
then they're making things, or, we try to make things together. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm really lucky because I think that doesn't happen very often. But to me, it seems so normal. I have been around a while, and I'm sociable, so I know a lot of people. And and then I think it kind of, not everybody again, but like for me and people I know, it's just that kind of thing. Like you want to be with people you like
Yeah.
and have a similar creative sense and dialogue, and so it just feels like a shorthand. And yeah,
Yeah,
life's too
and you
short.
feel safe with them. You're not, you're not going
Yeah,
to be screwed in the edit, and they're also pretty talented. Generally, you've
yeah,
surrounded yourself with very
turns out.
talented folks.
Yeah, you have
Um,
to be talented, otherwise I can't be your friend. That's
That's the
just kind of the
prerequisite. Yeah, yeah. If you're
yeah.
dull and have no wit or anything, yeah, no, move on. Well, okay, so that segues well into this one because Haley is a
Yeah.
friend, I would imagine. You're the writer,
Yes.
director, collaborator on Atropia.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed this. I hadn't seen it when it was at Sundance. I don't even know what the comp is for something like this. There is no comp. Maybe
Yeah.
like Wag the Dog shades way back when. I don't
Yeah,
even.
MASH. Kind of
Sure.
a Haley has a really great tagline where she said it's the MASH for the 9/11 generation.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the
Yeah.
kind of tagline. Yeah.
So what is the environment like right now to get something like this actually made? Is this like a tough slog in 2024, 2025 to actually get this made and theatrically
Yeah.
released in any way?
It's not easy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I will say it was easier to get it made than it is to get it out. You know what I mean? To get it seen,
right.
distributed. Vertical came on board, thank God, and has been doing a really great job putting it out there. But it's like I think people were scared of it. I mean, we won Sundance and we still didn't get bought for so long. And it wasn't like a fancy, you know what I mean? It just like wasn't,
Yeah,
and not to put down any other movies because I support all films, but except if it's racist or whatever. But I was like so surprised, and then I wasn't at the same time because we
right,
are entering an era where also the DEI days are over. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I think it's working against us, and it's very critical of the American government. Whether or not we're on the radar of the fucking government or not, I'm not sure, but I think people are going, I don't think this is a story that is going to have broad appeal.
right,
So if we don't have a chance to get middle America to see it, which I don't agree with, because I actually think a lot of people who are in this war, in the Iraq War, would be drawn to it. Anyone in the military would be drawn to it because it's a comedy, it's a satire. So it's like we're talking about stuff, but it doesn't have this kind of like this is right and this is wrong.
sure,
Like my character isn't very likable, and morally speaking, she isn't always correct. So I think what I love about the movie too is that it's not telling you what's right politically or not, and yet it still lands on the right side, if that makes sense.
totally.
Because it's being made by the right kind of people, and it's still like a romance at the heart. So
Yeah, you and Callum, legit chemistry. That guy,
yeah,
swoon
what a
worthy.
guy.
What a
Yeah.
guy. Okay, so
Terrible.
so so how did this one develop? I know there's a short film. You're obviously tight with Haley, and she said
Yeah.
that she essentially wanted to write something playing to your strengths, like what you were looking for. I mean, that's a gift for any actor to work with someone
Yeah.
that says like, hey, what do you actually want to do, and then actually execute it is a whole other thing, and to get it done is remarkable. So give me a sense of what that process was like and what you wanted to play.
Yeah. So we did do the short in 2018, 19, which is crazy. Pre-COVID, it's like mind warp. But so we did the short for the Mew Mew Tales, and it turned out really great. And the main difference was I wasn't pregnant and there was no romance. So the story was about this character, this actress, and the world was all there. And then, all these years passed, and Haley and I were kind of having a moment of, creative frustration. We each had projects that weren't really happening and just kind of venting. And we had a moment where we were like, we have this special idea that nobody else could make, like I'm so right for the character. She knows this world better than ever. And it's just something that we were so proud of always. And she tells the story better because she does the accent. But when we were at Venice, when we premiered the short, Lynn Ramsey told her, she like held up a fork and she's like, if you don't make this, some man's gonna come and take it away from you.
Wow, there's a motivator.
But Haley
Yeah,
does the accent, so it has
I love
usually a
it.
little more grit to it, but I didn't want to do it. Oh, okay. But so I think that kind of always rang in our head too, and we just kind of had this like, yeah, like what the fuck are we waiting on? Like,
Right.
this is so good. We're trying to look for something, let's just go for it. And then also Haley's quite organized and, follows through. So I thought we were just kind of having like a talk, and I was like, oh, that was fun. But anyways, back to being bitter about all the jobs I can't get. And then within a couple of months, she had written a draft, and she's like, and Luca Guadagnino, who's a friend of hers, an old friend of hers, was like the first reader and was going to produce it. And it just kind of all came together quite quickly. I mean, for an independent film, we shot within the year she wrote it, which
Right.
is really, I mean, not unheard of, but it's like very, it's rare,
Yeah.
and she was able to get the money just like, it was hard and up until the last minute, but she just never gave up. And then before, we started shooting, I was like, so and she's like, you're pregnant. I can't, and I knew it. And I was like, fuck, sorry. And I was like, I've never had sex before and I don't know what happened,
It's a
but
miracle.
it's a miracle too. It's a baby miracle. But so I got pregnant, and then that just added this element of like, but to answer your other question, when she asked me what genre have you never done before she started writing, and I said
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've ever done a proper romance.
Right.
So she was like, okay, romance this, but and then so she was writing it all, had written a draft, and then I got pregnant, and we were kind of like, we shoot and pretend I'm not. Depends how quickly we get the money. Can we make it? And then it was like, no, I was gonna be pretty pregnant by the time we shot. And so she added it in there, and now if you didn't know, like it really, I think it really grounds the story and the character and like her drive and her obliviousness to like real life situations that are literally happening to her physicality.
Yeah.
So it's quite poetic, and I can't imagine it without it.
How did Dad get involved? So Dad's in the film. I didn't realize this till
My
after the
dad's in the
fact.
film. Yeah, he's a mayor. Weirdly enough, he was also in Three Kings. That's the only other movie he's done. He was an advisor. I just like keep talking about fucking Three Kings. But yeah, my dad and Haley are friends, I mean through me, but like they know each other. And she told me, she's like, I feel like your dad would be perfect for the part. It's a paternal character to mine. Um, Someone who kind of like just has this warmth about him
Mm.
and is like a boss. He's kind of the guy who like tells everyone what to do and just has this like relaxed, temperament and I was like, yeah, he's perfect for it, and he's a Rocky and so he was like so excited to be a part of it. And I think it's kind of like everyone's like favorite performance in the movie. Like he's so good in it.
I
Yeah.
love it. So when you look at yourself and look at your parents, what do you see you got from mom? What did you get from dad?
Oh boy.
I
In
know.
a physical or just
Whatever you
every
want.
way?
However you want to take it.
Um, well, my father's like he doesn't express a lot of emotion, but he's very grounded and strong and isn't scared to do anything. He came over here when he was young, built a
Right.
whole very successful life for himself. So I like to think I got that kind of perseverance and just kind of like, don't give up, just keep trying. And like kind of focus from him. And then my mom is very emotional and very expressive and obsessed with movies and knows every movie star from the 1920s to, mainly earlier and nowadays maybe not as much. But she's just like her father was an actor who was quite
Right.
successful in the 50s, 60s, Paul Burke. And so she comes from this like honoring of artists and filmmakers. She holds it to the highest regard. But for the real art, not for the like celebrity of it. So I kind of feel like I got her like obsession of like, this is important.
Right.
We
Right.
love making movies, there's a lot of bullshit with it, but this is important I got from her, and just being like that being an artist is a something you can be. You meet a lot of people who they come from families that aren't artists and don't under they're like, you're an actor, you know?
Right.
And I never had that. It was always very like, you can do this. And this could
Are
be your
are
life.
are there films and TV shows that resonate with them that they are particularly drawn to that you've done in your career? What have they responded to?
Things that I've been in
Yeah.
that they like. Yeah, they're a little biased. They like most of the stuff I do, but I think they really like Search Party.
Yeah.
And they like The Old Man because they like seeing me work with those actors and like playing serious. I normally don't, I always am doing comedy, so I think they like that. Um, but but yeah, I gotta say they're my biggest fans. They're really cool. My dad doesn't watch like Duck Butter, he like didn't see that one,
Right.
but 'cause I'm like having sex in it. But yeah, so besides that, he doesn't like to watch the sex stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it'd be weird if he did, I guess.
It would be the opposite. He really no. Um,
He really, really likes
you know what he really
it.
likes? No. You've said before that you kind of had like a weird confidence as a kid. Is that fair to say that like you like and how young are we talking? Is this when you start to perform or just like always like from the ground zero? Did you always have a bit of a I don't know, swagger as a kid or what?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, did I say that? I feel like I remember saying that. I do remember I started acting when I was 9, and I wanted to be an actor when I was 7. So when I was 7, I started asking my parents, I was like, I want to be on TV. And they were kind of like, okay, kid, like, and I did like some modeling and stuff, and it just like wasn't what I wanted. I was like, no, no, I really want to like audition. I want to be on TV. And I just do remember being a lot more like, I didn't have life's damages to make me question myself. I was very clear. I was just like, this is it. I can do this and I want to do it. And my parents were very not stage parents. They were just like, they supported me, but we always went home, and I didn't live in LA, and I wasn't in the scene at all. And also, it was very much like if my grades dropped, I couldn't do it anymore. So it was kind of like a side thing, it was
Right.
very treated like, well, it's like an extracurricular activity. But it started to just become a bigger, bigger part of my life when I started doing TV shows because I'd be gone for a long time.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I would say my confidence was just like, nowadays it's hard to know what you want always. It's not as decisive, you're
Right.
like, but what about this? You like weigh lots of things as you get older, and how people feel. And when you're young, at least when I was young, I didn't worry about how anybody else felt about it.
Well, and there's also, I would imagine, the aspect of, especially when we're kids, any kind of validation from an adult saying
Right.
you have value, you're important in this adult
Yeah,
world is very meaningful.
totally. Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing like that it's important because now I have a kid and he's still small, but like that it's important for kids to have duties as a young age, to
Right.
be like when kids used to like give out the newspaper on their bike, it's
Right.
because they were like, they're not going to get the newspaper if I don't go. And it feels really good to be like, they need me. And I remember feeling that on set, you're like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and people are like talking to you fully like an adult,
Yeah.
sometimes not in the best way, but usually just like
Right.
confidently being like, you know how to do that. And can you make sure you pick that up on your way out and don't forget to blah blah blah. And you're like, got it. Like you just feel like, oh, I'm really part of this.
Yeah.
And that does, yeah, that does build a good self-esteem, I guess.
I didn't expect Three Kings to come up so much in this conversation, but that was your was your first film. I mean, it is a notable
Cool.
film. So was that in through dad, or were you already like looking trying to get roles at that point? Like, give me a sense of
No,
what
I
that
was already
experience was.
auditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first week of auditioning. I
Wow.
auditioned for a Barbie commercial, which I got. Barbie in a Porsche.
Hey, congrats.
And then thank you. It's hard to find. You can't find it online. I think they've buried it along with lots of my things. But yeah, I did that, and then like within the first week I got this audition because there's not a lot of people who were of that age and Iraqi,
Right.
And so it was just like kind of when looking back on it, it was kind of like God-given timing. You know what I mean? That like I just started acting and there was this role for an Iraqi child
Right.
my age, Um, so no, I auditioned for it. And it was one of those things, that's the kind of downside of the kid acting thing is the attention of the adults is what you're kind of vying for. That's why actors, they're like, oh, I did it because I wanted to be loved. But it's like, I remember like you do a good audition and then if they come out to talk to your parents, that's a good sign, They're like, oh, Tony, your daughter's amazing. And I'm just like, like just, being proud, like I
Yeah.
did it. And I just had to like cry pretty much on cue was the audition. But it was kind of an intense audition actually. I remember like they're like, we're just gonna say some things and you just react. And I was like, okay. And the things they were saying were really intense because
Yeah.
it was like about war and my mother gets killed. And so they were just like saying all these things and I just remember entering some like crazy zone. Like it was also easier when I was younger to like access that emotional place. But yeah, so I got it, and then because my father is from Baghdad and because he's Iraqi, he became an advisor on the set, helping
Right.
people with how to say things appropriately and just like cultural things. And then David O. Russell kind of took him under his wing and then gave him a part, and
Huh.
the rest is yeah.
Crazy. Okay. So, Arrested it comes down the pike a little bit, but before then, you work with your buddy
Yeah.
Mae Whitman on a show called State of Grace, right? So that's where I
Yeah.
assume that
Mhm.
that friendship began on State of Grace, which, by the way, I haven't seen, but again, if you just look on IMDb, the photos of you two together are so disgustingly
Yeah.
adorable.
Thank you.
It's
That's
intense.
another
So
show that
yeah,
yeah, be prepared.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, I mean, I always say it's a Wonder Years for girls, and
yeah.
Frances McDormand was my Daniel Stern,
Come
which
on.
is like unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better. And I play a Jewish girl who moves to the South and befriends this like, blonde, wealthy girl. And I come from this kind of like neurotic, hardworking Jewish family, with this an amazing cast like Dinah Manoff and Michael Mentel. It was just a really amazingly well written show. I mean, we won like critics awards for writing, and it was like a kid show, I
Wow.
mean, it was really well written. But the thing that's so sad about it now is that because it had a lot of famous 60s music in it, like it
Oh,
had like
that's what
Rolling
happened with
Stones and
Wonder
Beatles
Years. Same
songs.
exact thing. Yeah,
That
they
what
could
happened? Yeah, they
the
couldn't get the
licensing.
right. So the licensing got fucked, so we can't even get it on, Disney or whatever because it was at ABC Family.
Right.
So, but I get a lot of girls who are my age, women now, or come up to me and they're like, I used to watch State of Grace,
Oh.
and I really wish and hope in some world soon that it could go it could be seen again on streaming because it's such a good show. It's so well written and it's just like just a beautiful kid show, but like
Nice.
for adults too. It's just like, I mean, there's an episode where my father's obsessed with Leonard Bernstein, and I go see him
Wow.
perform and it's like it's very well done.
I mean,
Yeah.
so much of an actor's life, as you well know, is sort of luck meeting opportunity, right? And
Yeah,
especially for
totally.
somebody like early on to be defined by like good experiences. Like that sounds like that's a great experience. And obviously,
Yeah.
Arrested comes when you're, I don't know, you're 13, 14, something like that.
14 when I did the pilot, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
insane. It just like the best written pilot. I just still vividly remember watching that pilot and being like, where did this come from? Who is Mitch Hurwitz? Who are
Yeah.
these people?
Yeah.
Um, what did it even strike you at 14? Like the writing is actually really fucking smart here. This is different.
I'd like to think that I knew, but yeah, looking back, I was like, I was incredibly lucky. I mean, my mother, again, who was like, she was kind of my like, without being my manager at the time, meaning she would obviously read everything
Sure.
before, and she had amazing taste, and I still have her read things that I'm gonna do, but she's like, this is, the state of grace, and then when she got this, she's like, this is insane quality, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? She was like, this is kind of next level. And so I remember her saying that, like afterwards, being like, this would be really special kind of thing. And also as a kid, what I remember mainly is just being like enjoying doing the scenes, like, I mean, in the pilot episode, I'm like messing with my cousin,
Right.
I'm like, that's what makes it funny. Like, it was just such a good line. Like, so I don't think I was like, oh, this is good. I've read a lot of crap in my years. It's like I hadn't
Smoking a
read a
cigar, you're
lot.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was still like just doing soccer and like I wasn't
Right.
as aware.
Right.
But I will say, not to flatter myself or whatever, I feel very lucky that like the projects I was drawn to, the ones that were drawn to me that hired me were just like really amazing quality, really amazing people,
Yeah.
like talented and kind. And so I feel really lucky that that just kind of that happened. You know what I mean? Because like that really formed who I became as an artist for sure.
Well, I've formed also all these people that were well into their career. I literally Arnett just did the podcast yesterday. I did Bateman a
Yeah,
couple of weeks ago. Like these guys, their
nice.
careers are only where they are, and they'll openly say this because of Arrested coming to
Right.
them.
I mean,
It's
you think
just
about the positions that they were at in their careers at that time, which is crazy because they're my age now, a little even younger. They
right,
were in their early 30s when they did that show, which is so crazy to
right.
think about. And yeah, now the insane careers that they have because of it, it's really, and me and Michael talk about that a lot, Michael Sarah, like the perspective shift of being like,
Yes.
imagine if we got a show now,
Right.
that we were like, that was going to kind of change our lives, or that was, it's so weird. And then you're hanging out with like two 15-year-olds.
Well, it must have
That
like
was us.
you mentioned Michael. I must have been like so valuable.
Yeah.
There's my dog trying to get on camera.
Hi,
Um,
she's so cute.
she's adorable. But I mean, having Michael there must have
Yeah.
saved you because I mean, that's it. I know those guys to a degree, and I don't know if like they're the
Yeah.
most like nurturing human beings. They're like,
No,
they're
they
great,
weren't
but
bad
like
guys. No.
they're horrible
No,
people. No,
they weren't bad guys, but they wasn't like, but no, me and Michael were in a world to ourselves. I mean, literally we had to do school. So we had homeschool, we not homeschooling, but we had like a room to do school on set. But I mean, Michael's still one of my best friends. He became my best friend right away. We just like hit it off right away. And we were both like not from LA, so our moms became great friends. And we literally go to Cheesecake Factory every night and maybe go see a movie if we were lucky and then go home and see each other and do it all over again. So it's
right,
like we had such a bonding time, and also because we were being encouraged and we're making great art, whether we weren't necessarily focusing on it. We never used to like talk about the scenes together. We would just
right,
be like talking around and literally trying to make each other laugh all day. But I think it's because we were obviously doing, this at a really high level with all these amazing, we were obsessed with David Cross and Mr. Show. And like, we were just like, he was like our, God, we like looked up to him. And if we could make him laugh, that was like the biggest thing. I was
right.
like, did you see how made David laugh today? It was like we couldn't. And I gotta say, as the only girl, sometimes they would like tease Michael and let him in the group a little bit more than me,
Right.
because they were like, "Hi, Alia," like they wanted to be nice. And sometimes I was like, "I'm funny too." But but no, it was like, I mean, me and Michael talk about it too, where we're just like reading those scripts, and you have to do like table reads. It was very old fashioned back then for the
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
And Mitch was like, really amp it up so we sell the jokes because we need money for the next episodes.
That's amazing.
Um, and so we would like do these table reads every week, which was really fun, but it feels so old Hollywood now compared to how things are made. But I remember not understanding jokes sometimes as they were coming out of my mouth. And a lot of the jokes are like, I'm sitting on his lap and it's because
Right.
it's bumpy. So there's these like sexual innuendos that are going a little over my head, but I'm also understanding it in real time. And so we just had to grow up so fast. Our like comedy timing just was like, we had to keep up. And then also like improvising. I remember one time I improvised and I was so nervous because the writing's so good and there wasn't a lot of improvising, but people would add on little jokes here and there. But again, I'm like 15, insecure about my like so many things.
Sure.
And there's this joke where I come out, I have a paper and it's an A minus. And the line was just supposed to be like, I gotta, or no, it was like I'm gonna get it wrong now. I think it was like, I was like, it's like a C minus. It was a C
Uh-huh.
minus because she's not book smart, maybe. And I was like, I'm gonna say C minus, MINES, because you spell it with a U. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I was like so nervous. And then I did it. And I do remember Mitch being like, that's funny. You could keep doing that. And I was like, yes, like I did it. But no, it was very formative, very positive. Those years were like
Yeah.
really very positive time for me. Yeah, it was good.
I'm sure in the ensuing years, like you've gone through all the phases, right? Of like loving it and accepting it, and at times
Yeah.
being like, I could use a day or two without somebody referencing arrested when I go to Starbucks.
Yeah,
Is that
I
fair to
wouldn't say it's an
say?
everyday thing, but it is that thing where there was a period of time in my life where it felt like an albatross in the sense of
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
other stuff too,
Right.
like when I was doing Search Party, which has, gotten appreciation in certain circles, but I'm so proud of that show. And like, I'd still get just recognized for Arrested. And I was like, but I'm fucking starring
Yeah.
on
What
a
do I have
TV
to do?
show.
I
Work
made
really
yeah.
hard. I know what else I gotta fucking do. But that's the thing about this industry. It's just, it's never enough. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, what have you done lately? And there's one thing that hits, and I'll always be proud of being recognized as maybe, like I love it. I don't bat an eye. I think when I was a little younger and still feeling like a little bitter sometimes, I'd be like, oh yeah, that,
Right.
but no, it doesn't bother me. I mean, if they recognize me for a show that I was 15 on, that means my plastic surgery is working really well.
Amazing. Congrats to your plastic surgeon and you for keeping up
Thank you. Yeah, we've done
the
a lot of
regimen.
work. Recently.
You're doing great. So you've talked. I've heard you talk about this, like that you that's a rude awakening after that show because it's kind of
Yeah.
like you expect certain opportunities to be there, and just quite frankly, they weren't, and you kind of
Yeah,
had to recalibrate, and that took a minute. In re
totally.
in retrospect, I mean, did you play it wrong? Was it a strategy thing, or was that just out of your hands? That was the industry was not ready to receive what you wanted to deliver at that age. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, it's a timing thing, like as you said earlier, like the timing and being ready and right for parts. I mean, that's a great thing about, there's so many highs and so many downs for this kind of industry. But is that you can do this until you're 90, whatever, you know what I mean? The part of the role of your lifetime could be, someone
June
really old. It's like,
Squibbit, yeah, yeah,
yeah, like Michael Caine, you're like doing, I mean, he was doing great work before, but it's like,
yeah,
and then you could have him a great couple years, and then all of a sudden it doesn't, and then it comes back. And I mean, not to act like I have it all fucking figured out, but I think I've kind of, because I started so young, I have this feeling of like, it all happens when it's supposed to, like
yeah.
life outside of work is also very important and it informs the work. Obviously, you need to make money and you want to stay busy. And when you have a lot of friends who are doing things that are really big and commercially successful, of course you go like, oh man, I wish I was kind of up there. Um, but after that time, I was so young. I was 18, and I had just moved to New York and yeah, and Michael was in Superbad and Juno,
Right.
you know? So that was happening. And I was like, hello? What's
Um,
happening? He's in two of the biggest movies, and he got so famous overnight, which was really hard for him, but he handled it. But it was like, I just was like, but I'm the other kid on the show.
yeah,
So where's I was really wondering what was gonna, if that, I did have that feeling of like, I deserve this.
yeah.
And it never happened. But, in the scheme of things, it was an amazing time in my life. I was living here. I started painting, which is a huge part of my life now. And I wouldn't have really started to practice as confidently as I did because I wasn't shooting. I was traveling with somebody at the time that I was dating. And it was just like I was doing a lot of other things that actually helped me become who I
Be a human
am on a
being.
big
Yeah,
scale. I'm a
yeah.
human, fully rounded. And I think maybe I would have like, gotten like too much attention at a young age, could have formed something, I feel really lucky how it's all kind of panned out. And then I do think it kind of happens every 7 years or so, as they say, every 7 years you like are a new person or something, right?
Right.
Uh, But I had moments where I was like, is this what I want to do? Is this it? Because had acted as a kid, so I was like, I could do other stuff. I'm still very young, I'm not over the hill yet. And so I had to like redecide that I really wanted to do it. And instead of just feeling like I had to because this is all I knew.
It's funny
And
though. I
it
mean,
felt
look,
better to choose it.
yeah. I mean, but like, I mean, in looking from the outside in at the filmography, it's like there is consistent, like, great work. Like, let's not
Yeah.
like get it, like twisted. Like,
No, it's all
you're,
good.
you're no, but like it's like things that like hit at various degrees, and I saw them all at film festivals or
Yeah.
in theaters, whether it is like The
Yeah,
Runaways,
yeah.
Cedar Rapids, Ruby Sparks, The To-Do List. Like these are all really good movies. I mean, you worked with Kelly Reichardt a
Thank
few
you.
times, Final
Yeah.
Girls. Like for someone that's like, oh,
Layers.
I need,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like trying to find the groove, like you kind of found it when somehow along the way, and we're working with great
Yeah.
filmmakers, and they clearly
Totally.
were responding to what you were putting down. I mean,
Yeah.
like when I rattle off that list, I haven't mentioned Green Room with Jeremy Saulnier, like,
Mhm.
you attract a good caliber of filmmaker, and that's got to be a source of pride,
Thank
I would
you.
hope.
For sure. And also it's just like it adds to all the experiences. Like when you're younger too as an actor and then you're doing like, indie movies, it's like the experiences are very rich, because you're in a small town in Portland and you're hanging out with these seven people every day and you're all
Right.
sharing some small room and you're young and you're like, this is the fucking best. And you're like figuring out how to smoke weed in the hotel rooms and like, and then you're making amazing art with like a
Yeah.
bunch of professionals. And I feel really lucky. It's exactly what I wanted to do. And I love the kind of group mentality, the like kind of tribalistic, like traveling circus element of it. I'm very adjustable. Like I like to get like dropped on the floor and be like, all right, what's your name? Are we best friends? Like I just kind of I really like that world, and so it was really great for me at that. Yeah. And I'm not putting down any of those projects at all. I guess it was just more of like there wasn't this huge commercial success, which still
Yes.
hasn't happened. And that's probably for the best. But no, I was doing a lot of independent films,
Right.
and that's really what I wanted to do. And And I'm really proud of every project has had something, you know. There's only like one weird Christmas movie in my past that I'm not proud of, but everything else,
I see it.
great.
I see it staring at me on the
You
list.
don't say it.
Matthew Broderick, anybody? Great actor. Makes choices too. We all make bad
Yeah,
choices. It happens.
we all make choices. We all make
Um,
choices. Yeah.
I mean, we should give a little love to Search Party, which obviously must be a huge source of pride for you. I mean, I don't know, like I mean, early on, were all the genre shifts like baked into the premise of the show? Like, if we are so inclined, if we get the chance to do a few seasons of this, we're gonna just keep swerving.
They're, you know, Charles Rogers and Sarah Viblis were like the creators were so still, in my opinion, some of the best writers, you know, of all time. Like they're so smart. They're so ahead of the curve, you know, and I think they were just always kind of rolling with nothing was so planned, but they always had an idea. I don't think they knew every season would turn, but at the end of the first, they're like, if we get another one, we thought it would be cool if it's a different genre. And I was like, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before, you know? And it's like, even the genre of the show, a comedy mystery, was one of the first of its kind, you know, here. And then everybody started fucking doing it, you
Yes.
know what I mean? And it's like, not to take all the credit, but, you know, it really was. Like,
Only
now
murders.
everything, like
Yeah.
a comedy with a dead body. Like, what are we gonna do? And I got so frustrated because I was like, you know, we had a hard time with the networks. You know, TBS was really supportive at the beginning, but then it became HBO Max or whatever the fuck they are now. Who knows? Netflix. I guess it's on Netflix. But you
Right.
know, it's not
We're
even
all on
on
Netflix. This
HBO.
show's on Netflix,
We're
apparently.
all Net.
Yeah.
This is Netflix. Yeah. The background is just gonna
Yeah,
come on and
exactly.
like keep me.
What? My
Um,
apartment is Netflix?
yeah,
What?
my apartment. Oh God, don't laugh. It's probably gonna happen.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, they don't even have it on HBO Max anymore.
Oh,
You
really?
can't even watch it, which is like crazy. It's like so upsetting because it's all become so. But anyways, it was yeah, the genre thing, I don't think they knew, and they would just always kind of take it to the next level. And I remember when we reached the fourth season with Cola Scola, you know, which was like we kind of thought that would be the last. We didn't know we'd get another one.
Right.
And it was kind of this feeling where, you know, that's the darkest season, I think, of all of them. And they were like, we kind of hope we do get one more though, because we don't want to end on such a downer. You know, it feels like a little sad. Like I wasn't even with the main cast most of the time. You know, like the friends weren't together.
Right.
And so we were lucky to get this last one, which just like took it to all crazy kinds of level, like zombie, you know, everything.
Yeah.
And I think it was so even that was like ahead of its time, and that was only like 5 years ago when it aired.
Yeah.
But it's already still like now we're all taking happy pills, some version.
Time
Um,
has no
but
meaning.
yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
so proud of it. I really love that show.
A few other random ones I want to mention before I let you go. How did you end up on Severance? Is that a random, like, what happened? Where
Yeah,
might have happened?
that was an agent. That was an agent
Really?
call. You
Okay.
know, I got a phone call and they were like, "We have an offer for you to be on Severance." And I was a huge fan. I really am a big fan of Ben Stiller's.
Yeah.
I really love all the movies he's directed. And honestly, I'm just like a big fan of his.
Yeah.
And so I found out he was also directing the episode, which I was like really excited about. And just to be in that world, I was like, that's crazy. And it was really fun. It was a 2 week shoot for that, just that bit, you know what I mean? And I'm not in it that
Meticulous,
much.
that guy.
I know.
Right.
Oh, so ridiculous. I mean, we did so many takes, and it was
Yeah.
like every little thing had to be perfect. And it was very different than the way I'm used to working because I'm a little more like loosey-goosey with,
Right.
especially with independent film stuff. It's like, so I was kind of enjoying it. I was like, wow, this is a different art form, you know? But everyone was like so nice on that show, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. We shot a lot of stuff that got cut that I was kind of bummed that I wanted to
Oh, really?
see, but they have so much. I mean, that show took like I'm not even kidding you, like 5 years to like shoot that season. Like
No, I
it took
know.
so long. I mean, not 5 years. It took like maybe two though, because
Yeah.
they had the strikes and every episode is like it's like a film, you know? It's a lot of work. And it pays off because it's a brilliant show. But yeah, I was
So,
happy to
is
be
it to,
part of it.
to talking about kind of like the different, pleasure centers of your brain of like art that stimulates you? Like
Yeah.
you've certainly taken care of like the indie film side. You should be like get a statue in Park City at Sundance by now. But like, can I manifest a franchise for you? Is there a franchise that
Oh
you
my
love?
God, is that what I want?
I don't know. Is there something you
No.
want?
What do I want? No, I mean, honestly, the franchise is definitely not. the thing I'm like working towards.
Right.
I think it's just about like consistency. It's like there's still this feeling of like, am I gonna work? You know what I mean? You know, you always hope like it's like a gig mentality. You know, I'm like, will I get another gig? Like,
Yeah.
so
Does
it's
the anxiety go away at some point in my life, or is this just
you know, I
part
mean,
of
once
the
I had the
deal?
kid, it just came back up. I was like finally being like, whatever comes, comes. And then I had a
Right.
kid and I was like, I gotta work now. Um, but I think for me more it's like I want to work with great directors, you know?
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of amazing friends of mine, first time directors, and that's been an amazing experience. But I think for me, a next chapter is like I want to work with like PTA, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
want to work with like really experienced directors now and be like, what do I do? You know, like let's work together. Because I feel like I'm like an athlete. Like I know how to be on a set. I know a lot of things, but it'd be fun to be like guided a bit instead of just feeling like we're doing it all together, if that makes sense.
No,
Like,
totally. Totally.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'd like to direct. So,
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, you produced, do you write? Is
mhm.
that an ambition also to get stuff produced that you've written
Yeah,
and to direct it yourself?
definitely. That's the next thing. I've written something and I'm kind of doing notes on it, but I'm hoping to direct it next year.
Nice.
Something that I've been like working on for a long time. It was going to be a TV show, and then that all fell apart. And now I'm like,
Okay.
it'll be an indie film because I know how to do that.
You
So
do.
yeah.
You you've got at least one thing in the can that I'm curious about. The Wrong Girls, which has a hell of
Yeah,
a cast, directed by Dylan Meyer. What can you tease about that one? Have you seen it yet?
I have. There's a lot of like, to not do a spoiler, but there's a lot of like voice stuff to do in it, you know, some kind
Okay.
of like ADR tricks. So we've been finishing that up, and Dylan's amazing, you know, also a first time director, but like incredible writer. It's a comedy, it's a stoner comedy with me and Kristen Stewart, you know, I mean, like, what else do you need? It's so fun, it's really dumb in the best ways, and like but with like a beautiful heart, and like I'm really excited for people to see it. It's definitely more of a character than I've played in a while, which is fun.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you mentioned we haven't given it enough love, but there's this whole other giant side of your life, which is art, which is painting. And is that something
Yeah.
that, like, I mean, we're talking all about acting, but like, does acting take up 12% of the time versus 20, 50% of being a mom and 40% of painting? Like, how much is painting part of your
Yeah.
life?
I mean, I'm bad with math, so I can't do the numbers,
You
but
don't have
it
to give
is
me
a
the
big part of my
percentages.
life. I was like, I'm what is it like 12? Um, yeah, I like to. I mean, I'm lucky that I have a studio now, and have for a couple years, and so when I'm not working on sets, I'm there every day. And I'm either writing in there or painting and or drawing, and it's just like my place to go. I'd really love to have at least a year where I commit to painting every day, because I think you have to as an artist, and but it's another thing as a painter, visual artist, like I feel like it only gets sweeter as you get older. You know, even more so than with acting in some way, because it's like you kind of have to go in your head in this like more interior space, and then it gets deeper, you know, and with this whole thing of like I gotta work, I want to work. It's like to take a year off seems like hard, but when I get older, God willing, I'm just like it'll be easier for me to be like, no, I'm just painting for like a little while, and I think my work would really, you know, get to another level. But I did just have a solo show in New York. I'm like looking, I weirdly can see the gallery from my hotel room, um, and it was really great. And just to share it with people more and more is has become, you know, a big part of it too. Is like share. It's very intimate paintings,
Yeah,
so.
I would imagine it's quite a, exposing yourself to,
Yeah.
that it must feel very exposing when you put on a show. I can only
Totally.
imagine.
Like telling people your dreams, you know,
Right,
and they
right.
usually don't want to listen, but
We end every Happy Second Views podcast with the profoundly random questions. Alia, are you ready?
fun. Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to see if my dog stops barking enough for me to get these out. The first one, very appropriately, is dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. What do you collect, if anything?
What do I collect, if anything? Honestly, postcards of nature.
Nice. Excellent. Do you have a favorite video game of all time? Something from childhood? Were you ever a gamer?
No, but my brothers are both intense gamers. So I hate video games for that reason because I've lost them to
Oh,
games.
sorry. It's triggering. Sorry.
No, it is. But I used to really love Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember that show? Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
What's the wallpaper on your phone?
Oh, that's a good question. It's not my kid. It's
Ooh.
a really beautiful painting of just like a surge of light going into the grass.
And that's your work?
No, this one's not. No,
Okay.
I don't know whose it is.
Very nice. Last actor you were mistaken for.
I want to say Alana Glazer because I'm always mistaken for her. But I can never tell because since I did a guest spot on Broad City, people are like, and Broad City, and I'm like, the episode or the show? So I'll say Alana Glazer.
Okay. What's the worst
Mhm.
note a director has ever given you?
Speak louder.
Didn't appreciate that one. Not helpful.
No, I didn't like it at all. I was like, you're drunk.
Did you speak lower? You went down? Passive aggressive?
Yeah.
And in the spirit of happy, sad, confused, who's an actor who always makes you happy? You see them on screen, you're immediately in a better mood.
Meryl Streep.
Movie that makes you sad?
Movie that makes me sad. Mm, what's a movie that makes me sad? I mean, I cried on the plane to a movie that I'm embarrassed to say.
No, you got to go
Um,
for it. What is it?
okay, I have to say it because it's just off the top of my head. The Family Stone.
Oh, yes. It's the holiday
Cried.
thing, the
Yeah, and
altitude, the
Diane's sick,
combination.
and she's gone now,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I just
Diane, of course. Yeah.
I-
No, that's justifiable. Yeah, I
okay,
get
but
it.
that's not like the movie that makes me sad. But for now, it'll do. Yeah.
You're a woman of many tastes. It's okay. It's okay. You contain multitudes. And finally, a food that makes you confused.
A food?
Mhm.
A food that
A
makes me
food.
confused.
Hmm.
A food. That's a good question. What's a food that makes me
You don't get
confused?
it. Why do people eat that? You see it on the menu. I no,
Right.
that's
No, honestly, pork.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not like I eat other meat, but pork, I'm a little like they're really smart. They're smarter than dogs. I find it weird.
It's fair. It's fair. Hey, I'm glad Atropia gave us a chance to catch up. I'm excited
Yeah,
for
me
people to see
too.
this film. I'm excited to see you on stage in New York. Good luck with that. No nerves. You got this.
Thank you.
And truly, thanks for
Yeah,
the
let's hang
time.
out afterwards. Yeah, thank
Definitely.
you.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pushed to do this by Josh.